My name is Joanna. I'm here with Matthew to talk about the flipped classroom. This is a topic that impacts many teachers. You may not be using a flipped classroom now, but this is something that is increasing in popularity. We're here to give you a little help.
I'm Matthew. Just call me Matt. My role here is to give you technical details. Joanna provides the big picture. You just heard that we're here to help. Our focus, in this presentation, is on the preparation of materials that students can use outside a classroom setting. Shall we get started?
The flipped classroom is based on a simple concept. It's to stop presenting course content in a lecture format. Instead, you'll make this information available to your students in a series of video modules. This lets your students consume and study the course content outside the classroom.
Imagine your students consuming video materials on their home computer. Or, perhaps they'll be watching a video module on a phone as they wait for a bus. Where, when, and how they view the course content is up to them. ICE technology, plus internet access, makes all of this possible.
Your role, as a teacher, is changing. Instead of giving lectures, you'll provide and manage activities in the classroom. What are these activities? Discussions, demonstrations, group projects, and a host of other kinds of involvement with the course topics. If you are a creative teacher, this must be an exciting and challenging prospect.
We're not going to talk about the active exercises here. The reason is that first, you've got to move your content, your lecture materials, to video.
We want to be realistic. We're all busy, and we don't have time to create course materials from scratch. So let's use our existing resources. Your lecture materials can be repurposed into an online video library. We are going to give a way to go from PowerPoint lectures to online video content.
You are probably thinking of how this can be done. Right? Well, let's see.
Matt and I don't think that videotaping your lectures is a very good idea. Some of the reasons are technical. Probably more important, you'll likely end up with long video presentations. Lecture-length videos are hard for a student to consume. What you don't want to hear from your students is that your videos are boring.
Technical difficulties involve things like getting good audio. And do you videotape yourself, your slides, or both? What happens if you make a mistake? How do you edit video? Put simply, videotaping is not as easy as it seems.
The first part of a conversion strategy is to divide your lecture into units. We call these modules.
Think about a typical lecture. There are usually a series of related topics. You'll probably want to divide your lecture using these natural breaks. In general, each module should be no longer than 15 minutes. These are now bite-sized pieces. Each one of them is a set of PowerPoint slides.
We're going to start with the set of PowerPoint slides that makes up a module. Then, we need to add a voice that explains each slide. You could record your own voice, but that's pretty hard to do. Instead, we've got an alternative. Matt, overview of the procedure.
Okay. Here it is, very quickly. Write out the words you'd say in your lecture. Feed these words to a text-to-speech engine. We use Amazon Web Services Poly. Poly produces MP3 audio files. You add the audio files to your PowerPoint slides. Then you save your PowerPoint presentation as a video. Finally, you move the video to a place where students can find it. For example, YouTube.
Wow. I know what you're thinking. That's a lot to do. And you probably think it's pretty hard.
It seems like a lot of work. That's because there are several steps. But consider that you probably have the needed PowerPoint slides. And it shouldn't be too hard to write up what you usually say when you show the slides. The rest is simple mechanics. So, it isn't too bad.
So, Matt, you're saying that this isn't really all that technical. Do you think that most people can do it?
The only new technology is the use of a cloud-based program. You're not recording your own voice. And you're not using complex software. Just cut and paste some text into a window. Click on a button. Boom. You've got an audio file.
Here's where I think this leads. You have a system that lets you make corrections. You can fix little things pretty easily. Similarly, updating your materials is also pretty straightforward. As an instructor, I value both accuracy and being up to date.
Yes, you just edit the text to make corrections and updates. Then click a few times to get a new audio file. That means you can update your lecture materials very easily. If it is fast and easy, you're more likely to make the changes. This is so very different than re-recording a video of a lecture.
That discussion was about updating slides in an individual module. Of course, we want the details to be correct. But also consider a larger scale. You can also slip in a new module that covers recent thinking and developments. Or, if you find that students are not fully understanding a concept, you can add a module that helps them with the topic.
Note that you are not constrained by the time constraints of a typical class period. You can add, delete, or modify the modules to meet the needs of the subject. This lets you create a well-balanced, fine-tuned presentation of a topic.
Note the relative simplicity of using text-to-speech technology to handle the dialogue for a video module. I hope that you see that this is a simplifying technology that helps you convert lectures to video modules. Even so, converting the lectures for an entire course will be a lot of work. A typical course will have lots of video modules. An important benefit of this approach is that the work can be shared.
If you are team teaching a course, you can spread out the tasks to different people. This works because the product, the video modules, all appear to have come from a single person. One voice is being used for the narration, no matter who is involved in the production. It also means that you can specialize. Each person can become good at a particular task. That can make the process more efficient. Can you imagine pairing up with someone from a different institution? This system will let you do that.
We usually don't think about peer reviewing lectures. But I'll bet that we all agree that peer review could help us improve our instructional materials.
Peer review can suggest small changes that are helpful. Remember, it's pretty easy to update the spoken words and PowerPoint slides. Therefore, you might even want to seek out a critical review of your video modules.
There are a few areas where this approach might have significant additional impacts. The text-to-speech engines have voices in many languages. These engines don't do the translation. But they will speak text written in a foreign language with the voice appropriate for that language.
The other point is that there are highly competent instructors who are not native English speakers. Some of these are people who have a strong accent. Using text-to-speech to provide the voice removes the accent.
Finally, we just want to mention something that is related, without going into any detail here. This is the use of a different style in PowerPoint. It's called the assertion evidence style. We think this fits the video module format well.
Note that the assertion is a sentence at the top of each slide. The assertion states a point. The bottom part of the slide is either a diagram, graph or photo. There may be some text, but usually no bullet points. Your words explain how the graphic, that is the evidence, relates to the assertion.
We've made 2 videos to explore topics mentioned in this introduction. They're found on YouTube.
And thanks for joining us on this preview of how we can use technology to improve our instructional efforts.